Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble and on Patreon for extra support. Any kind of updates in the set usually go about on Twitter X. Yesterday, I didn't manage to do, an episode of the gaming news. I had to leave home early for a lot of some meetings and some errands, so I was away basically all day. But today we'll have a gameplay series episode from the Callisto Protocol. What else? And yeah, basically the usual stuff here. I still have the complete gameplay series here if you want to catch up in any games whatsoever, which are the 4K complete gameplay series, most recent ones, and the older ones, 1080p resolution there before the interruption of uploading content to my channel. What else? I don't think we have anything regarding updates, so let's go to the news. Yesterday, I did manage to catch up by the end of the day, late at night, with the 5090 reviews. I did basically from the usual suspects, which was our Hardware Unboxed and Gamers Nexus. I also watched the, I'm not sure if he's here, Daniel Oman. No, Daniel Oman. Owen. I also check him out because he's trying to do. I think he wants to in the future do some comparisons between the 5090 and the 7900 XTX, which is my GPU. But the overall consensus from what I got from other sites that I saw, it seems that again, um, if you went about with the hype that Nvidia numbers reported on CES 2025 are going to be quite disappointing, the consensus seems that in terms of uplift in performance by itself, it went around to the numbers I was speculating before the reviews, which are more realistic, mm, between 25% or thereabouts in terms of rasterized performance. In some cases, you can see, especially in 4K. Again, this GPU is not meant for 1440p and even from 1080p. Again, even though you can get more frames in basically 99% of the cases, the uplift in terms of performance between generations, it's not noticeable, mainly or due to CPU bottleneck situations or overhead issues with the drivers from the GPU for sure. It's a 4K 4K GPU. What else in terms of value? Uplift in terms of value for performance, it doesn't stack up. It's the same thing. Hardware Unboxed did basically a running joke throughout his review. Basically, we can consider this a 4090 Ti to a certain extent because of the value add that you don't have with the performance. In terms of power consumption, also, again, everything increases on in terms of sheet specs around 30% or so, including the price. And again, even taking the comparison between the 4090 and the 59 terms of price points, and the again, we are going to see a huge lack of not huge lack of stock, but you're not going to see a lot of stock from this CPU, and that will automatically inflate the price. There's some cases that big retailers in some countries they only got like a handful of 5090s from even from AIBs or even the FE variants there. So yeah, this will not be a card for $2,000 for sure. Even from AIBs, I think they start around $2,200 if not mistaken, give or take on the lower end of things. Yeah, this is going to be again, this is going to be the best GPU on the market, that's for sure. But in terms of value, again, I think my recommendation, if at this moment in time you play 4K games without any issues at crude settings that you think it's manageable or that you like, I don't think it compensates to buy this 5090. Again, this is, I think it has more value as I don't know, productivity GPU, mainly because of the uplift in terms of the memory bandwidth and the fact that it has 32 gigabytes of VRAM. I think it compensates more on that hand than just basically use it as uh, as a gaming GPU. But then again, if you don't have any kind of issues with money, I don't think any kind of advice regarding uplift in terms of price performance and all that jazz will take any effect. But other than that, that seems to be kind of the overall consensus. And even in some specific cases, depending on the resolution and depending on the settings, there is a couple of scenarios that I remember from Hardware Unbox that even the 4090 performs better than the 5090. Again, depends on very specific scenarios in a certain sense. But yeah, overall consensus, it seems that performs in terms of rasterization around 25 to 40%. And there is one case scenario that performed like 40% better in 4K rasterized performance on very high settings or max settings. Ray tracing, you don't see a lot of huge lifts, especially compared with rasterization performance. It's even less to a certain extent. But yeah, it's not the end all be all of this generation. Again, given that we know this is not going to be a huge lift in performance, maybe because of the constraints of the manufacturing process or the node process of this GPU. It consumes a lot of power even on idle. Again, I think I basically went through. But yeah, if you're still curious regarding the numbers and the things, again, most just a last side note, most of them do not cover too much DLSS, uplifts in performance, and even the MFG. So the fake frames, which basically is a smoothing technique to visually smooth everything there. But then I think they're going to be in the upcoming week releasing a little bit more videos just specifically for the analysis on the upscaler itself, from CNN to transformer model, and also the fact how it compares in terms of visual image quality regarding the fake frame rate stuff there. But yeah, other than that, this is what we got here from the 5090. 5080 will come out, and I think it's going to be even more underwhelming on the 30th, if not mistaken. I think in around, I don't know, 6 days or so. And it's the same time that all the cards will be up for sale. So yeah, I don't think this is going to be the end all be all generation. But again, we might see. Again, it's very tricky with AMD and the 9070 or the 9000 series of GPUs. We might see something better from the GPU attempts. I think, I believe, in terms of performance to the price. I think mainly because again, it seems that they are inside AMD supposedly taking better account of how they're going to stack up in terms of price to performance, especially with the 5070 Ti and 7090 Ti. See how it goes. Again, we don't have, again, to reiterate, we don't have any official numbers from performance from AMD or even like the total specs, everything, the information that we have, with the exception of the 16 gigabytes of VRAM, everything is rumors and leaks category. But it seems to be a consensus that it might perform very well, at least comparatively with the 5070 class cards. It's just a matter of price, and also a matter, I think, as an added value or the FSR4 quality in terms of how it's going to stack up comparatively with the DLSS, especially the upscaling part of the tech bundle of technologies there. Again, just to reiterate here, the information that we got, that is going to be launched in March, even though in February we're going to have a 50 cards. Again, I think it might have been a good idea to delay the launch of the RDNA for GPUs. Maybe we'll have to wait and see how everything plays out in the end. Mainly because NVIDIA is kind of doing to a certain degree with what we call a paper launch of the GPUs, because there's not seems to be a lot of inventory for these GPUs. And again, as I mentioned earlier, this only will increase the prices of the GPUs themselves way over the MSRP. I covered, I think, a couple of days. In some markets, the 5090 is selling at least on the pre-purchase thing, double the price, so $4,000 for the 5090, which is completely insane in that sense. And I think, even though we don't have official information of the specific date to launch and the review embargoes of these GPUs, there are already a lot of stock on these GPUs on retailers, and I think this will smooth out the launch of the GPU. It's just a matter of them having a good launch in the sense of price to performance with at least with the current generation, given that they are going to launch after the 70 class cards from Nvidia. That's my expectation, is at least in that range of the 70 class cards. They have way more inventory on stores, and I think again, I think they need to do the event and start hyping up way before, a little bit, at least a little bit before the 5070 review embargo comes in, and then double down after the reviews of the 5070 class cards come out, so there is a comparison to be made, and they can, at least with some first party information, at least ramp up the interest of the RDNA 4 GPUs, because there's not going to be any high-end cards. I think they really need to fine-tune the strategy there, which is basically focus on competing with the 70 class cards from Nvidia, and especially being even more aggressive with their price points. I think they might get a good hit with the 9070 XT. Again, as a speculation, again, no confirmed numbers. Again, if it performs, I think from the numbers that we've seen, I think it can overperform a little bit with the 5070 Ti. And given that they have a little bit room to wiggle between to lower the price below $750, again, as long as they don't stick with the less $50 and hope for the best, I think they need to be very, very aggressive. I think the psychological limit there is $500. If they can really manage to, at least between maybe 550, they really need to be very aggressive to sell these cards and try to gain a little bit more of market share, if that's really their overall strategy. At least that's the indication that we got from Jack Yoon, from a couple of months ago in terms of interviews. I think, yeah, they really need to get that psychological number there. A maximum on the ceiling 600, so they have at least $150. Probably the 5070 Ti might be a little bit over the MSRP. Mainly, again, there seems to be not a lot of inventory, and the fact that the uplift in terms of price to performance between the older generation is not that good, at least as they announced, or trying to hype up everybody for the NVIDIA 5000 series there. Again, it's a matter of them to, again, in my head, I think announce around maximum $600. Hopefully, the performance is at least on par or better in most cases with that 5070 Ti, and also the FSR4 brings huge advantages in terms of image quality and how it behaves, in terms of on parity with DLSS in terms of the upscaling. I think the fake frame rates, people are a little bit reticent using this kind of technology. I think unless you have, again, a good base of FPS to then enhance the visual experience with that technology, I don't think people are diving too much on the fake frame stuff there. I think the upscaling technology is the most important part there. Again, and if they really manage to go around there, I think they might be getting around and getting a little bit more market share, at least in that 70 class card performance kind of a thing there, which is mid to high range on the GPUs there. But yeah, hopefully we'll have a little bit more official information regarding the showcase that they're going to do for the RDNA 4, at least the 9070 XT and non-XT, in conjunction with the FSR4 technology. And I hope that inventories at least continue to pile up. This is another issue for the retailers there. But I think if they manage to achieve a good launch in terms of specs and price, and given that if they have enough inventory, I think they have a good launch here, at least hopefully, so you can have a little bit, I don't know, a little bit more competition to put a little bit more pressure on Nvidia on that middle range, and hopefully the prices will trickle down fast enough for us to enjoy good frame rates and high quality. In terms of games, I did also watch yesterday Xbox Developers Direct, or wherever they are calling there. Um, I completely forgot. I knew in the 20th January, I know we had some stuff there. Um, there was 4 games announced. There was a Ninja Gaiden there. I never was. I think I only played a little bit of Ninja Gaiden 1 or something like that. I'm not sure in what console that I played. I know it was a long time ago. I think I played a little bit. I don't know. Again, Mega Drive or something like that. A very old system. It's usually not suited for me. It's not usually the kind of games that I like. But then we got this one, Doom, the Dark Ages Showcase, and Clair Obscur also. And then we got whatever, South of Midnight or something like that, which is, it seems to be infected per se with the Sweet Baby consultancy there. I found when I first saw the trailer, I found it interesting, the art style that they went through, and the fact that they were trying to tackle some themes from the Bayou stuff there. But I think that it's going to be a bold and brave kind of a game there. I'm not sure about that. I didn't even watch that portion of the developer diary there. I skip it through, but I did manage to check Doom, and we already have some PC specs requirements. And of course, the game we got now a launch date May 15 of this year, so not 3 for 4 months from now. But yeah, interesting things here on PC requirements. Let's expand here the images. Now, given that this uses a fork, or again, latest Indiana Jones game uses a fork of this engine, the id Software engine. It seems to me, sorry, that all games from now on will require ray tracing capabilities from the GPUs they are going to use. And with that said, there are going to be a little bit more demand on the VRAM on your own GPU. Again, ray tracing gets more VRAM out of the GPU, or of your GPU there, and with ray tracing also the demands on the CPU is going to be a little bit higher, because when you plug in and turn on not RTX, sorry, ray tracing, the demands on the hardware are increased a little bit more. You need more cores and everything, and higher frequencies to handle the ray tracing, and plus also more VRAM from the GPU. But yeah, for the minimum, um, they say 1080p, 60 frames per second on low video settings. You're going to need around the 10th generation AMD or Zen 2 with at least 8 cores or 16 threads. They give you examples: Ryzen 3700X or better, and Intel 10700K or better, which is a little bit demanding, mainly because of the low video settings, and especially we will see this on the GPU side of things. They have to have, again, 8 gigabytes or better for dedicated VRAM. They give you examples: RTX 2060, the super variant, because the 2060 didn't have 8 gigabytes, had 6 gigabytes. And then for AMD RX 6600 or better. I saw some examples that, for example, even in lower end of this generation, like the 4060 and even the 7600, they are 8 gigabytes, and they are you can tweak around a little bit on the video settings, as long as you put down shadows and what and I completely forgot what the other setting was. That textures. If you put down a little bit the textures and the shadow stuff, you can play around with the other settings and increase a little bit of those settings and keep yourself in within the budget of 8 gigabytes of VRAM. And then system RAM, we've been seeing the minimum requirement for a lot of games, 16 gigabytes of RAM. And in terms of storage, they are now want at minimum SSD, but they always recommend now, starting to recommend NVMe's instead of just 2.5 slot SSDs there. And the game will occupy around 100 gigabytes available. On the higher end, supposedly at 4K 60 frames, ultra video settings. And again, I'm counting this not being demanding any kind of upscaling to play this game. Usually, now we'll be seeing that people, when upscale needs to be enabled, they will usually reference this. But I'm assuming this is all native resolution, hopefully, because if it's not, it's even worse than. But again, the game itself usually it's pretty light per se, so I am assuming this is native resolutions. Again, 4K 60 frames, ultra video settings. Again, 12th generation, or again 8 core 16 threads. It maintains the same. It just ramp ups a little bit on the frequency of those CPUs, which is Ryzen 7 5700X or better, or a 12700K or better. And then on terms of GPUs, at least 16 gigabytes. This is going to be a little bit tricky. And I don't know, in the series of 4070s and that class of level, usually they top out between 12. I think the 4070 Ti Super has 16 gigabytes, but on the AMD side, it's a little bit better there. But yeah, and because of that, by the fact that also ultra settings there, again, RTX 4080 or better, and from AMD you can go around and play with the 7900 XT or better. So you got a little bit more leeway because of mainly of the VRAM side of things. And again, then you're going to need also 32 gigabytes of RAM, which is basically a requirement, like almost an average. Everybody has to have 32 gigabytes of RAM, even though, again, they are not very expensive at this point in time. I think the price increased a little bit, but I think it's manageable still to get around and get 32 gigabytes of RAM on your PC. Um, but yeah, this is what I got from Doom. Where can I close this thing here? It doesn't close. Okay. Doesn't matter. The other game that I want to go about is Clair Obscur Expedition 33. We got a launch date, April 24th. And in this portion of the developer, whatever they are calling on Xbox Showcase, we got a little bit more details. We got a little background how they came up with idea of coming up with a combat system, turn-based old JRPGs with some dynamic interaction with a quick pressing the kind of quick time event here in real time to try enhance the combat in terms of the attacking part, or the increase the defense part of the turn-based combat gameplay there. It seems pretty good. From what I've seen, I really like this, and the fact that I think the bigger thing that I liked more is the open world. They finally revealed that the game will have an open world. We have this little character here that is going to serve as the mount on navigating the open world. If you want more challenging stuff, you have to explore very well. So there's going to be a lot of secrets for you to explore. Um, what else? Even this mount has going to have a lot of upgrades that you can go about. They skim through a little bit that there's going to be specific abilities for your group party. There was also another character that was introduced, which is kind of the smithy kind of a thing there, and give us a little bit overall better sense of how the world works. I really did enjoy this one. I'm really expecting this is going to be a good one. I'm just hoping that we can have a demo before the game comes out. The game seems pretty polished. Again, this is not going to be high frame rates thing. It's going to be a turn-based kind of old style JRPG. The art style is pretty spectacular. The story seems interesting. Hopefully, it develops well throughout the way you play the game. But yeah, I really did enjoy it, and I really do recommend you to check out at least the trailer, if not the showcase itself, the portion of this game, because it gives you a better idea what the game is all about if you never heard of it. And then going for a little bit of this here, it seemed, I didn't watch the stream by myself, but it seemed that Assassin's Creed Shadow did a Twitch stream to try and showcase the $20 million delay that they had until I think March or something like that. I'm not sure. And there was a blunder there, which is again, it might happen. Um, it seemed that they want to pet an animal and it bugged out that interaction, which is not that good for them to try and ramp up interest on this game. And one of the things that it was interesting is even the fact that they have 1.1 million followers on Twitch on their own channel there. There was only managed to peak at 15,000 viewers, and I think the average viewer was around 5,000, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, the new improved gameplay polish was not that good. Yeah, there is a similar simple dog pecking animation. The animation bug down turning the moment into an intentional matter for the game's trouble development. Again, basically, it's just I pull up this article just to cover this because they go here on the several situations that the game went about from the release dates, fiasco, and all that jazz that we already know. But yeah, seems that this is gathering the view of everybody identifying as non-binary on this one. So yeah, that's that. Then we got also EA, another big company that is taking a plunge there. There was a market meltdown, sorry, as stock plunges 20% after the admission of Dragon Age: The Veilguard failure. Again, um, Stockner, okay, and also Sports FC 25, which is the soccer game. Again, they even had to lower the forecast for the revenue of this fiscal year, and after all this information came out, again, a huge plunge. This is a 5-day forecast, so in the last week or so was pretty stable, and just took a plunge one day, and the day basically after it continued to over around $115 or so. Again, we all knew this was about to happen. Again, the projection for the Dragon Age, the Veilguard, was projected to sell 3 million copies and release around 10 million over its life cycle. I don't know, 3 years for selling 10 million copies, which everybody knew that was impossible to do. And the game had only engaged, which doesn't mean sales, of 1.5 million players as of December of 31. Again, I will assume this is PC and consoles. So, and in terms of engagement, I'm not sure if this game came out already on Xbox Game Pass. There was a lot of freebies done to influencers and content creators, not only to review, but I think there was some giveaways um, of this game here. So that's why I think it says engage 1.5 million players. And again, we know that it didn't sell 1 million copies because usually this is kind of an achievement, or at least when it usually any game when it sells 1 million copies, they usually do a huge fanfare out of it, and we never heard anything from this game here. And the fact that the creative director just uh, left the studio. Supposedly, the studio itself, the Edmonton studio from BioWare, is going to close supposedly. But yeah, and then we got also EA Sports FC 25, which is football club or whatever it's called, the rebranded successor of FIFA franchise. Also underperformed again. It's bound to happen. These live services and all that stuff. Fact that they are squeezing money out of everybody. Again, the live service stuff there is oversaturated with a lot of games trying to claim the time of players, and again trying to squeeze out every dollar that you have on your wallet. It's bound to happen that a lot of them are going to fail spectacularly. But yeah, I think here the fiscal year, even though it's not that much, it's they have to update it for lower revenue forecast, which is a difference around $400 million or so between the high and the low. But yeah, we're going to see a lot of games that are on this slop release. And we will see, especially with now with Assassin's Creed when it launches there. This is going to be a very interesting thing to see the launch of that game also. And then lastly, we got here. I was interested on this game, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, and now it seems that we have the continuation of the problem of at least the community managers of the communities within the gaming sphere. I have to put the blame on the hiring these persons that are doing all the banning and doing all this, I don't know, censoring, mainly from the part of the publishers, because usually the publishers take the responsibility of taking over the community manager around every platform, given it's Discord, Steam, whatever it is on the sites. Reddit, not so much. But yeah, on official channels, the community managers there, the responsibility is always to the publisher. Usually, the developer doesn't have anything to say. But even though in this case seems to be that developer, yeah, it's this game is going to be interesting to see also because this franchise Vampire the Masquerade, it seems to have kind of a niche but a very tight community around it, and I think they are going to destroy this if it, all of we are seeing here is true, because even by asking questions people are getting banned and censored, which is not good. We got here this case here. This person did the Chinese room launched this some images here and there, and even for me they are the same thing here. I remember seeing this image at a glance, and I thought it was, I don't know, whatever it is. They seem the exact clone of each other, and people start asking what's the difference between this thing here, and they got banned. Because they question which one is which, male or female, and they got banned out of it. And then on Steam, there was a lot of stuff here coming specifically from this community manager, Fiona PDX. I don't know what PDX means. Locking threads all over the place and banning people. And they are even locked and banning people just by asking if this is happening, which is which is interesting. And this person here on Steam ask, is it true that you ban people for asking who is who? And then here the person in question here that's doing a lot of this, I don't know, damage per se. No, but you will get banned from transphobia no matter how thinly veiled it is, which is very interesting by itself. um, the fact that people are asking questions, and I will have to assume that it's honest questions because people are watching an image and they, I don't know, getting doubt. Of course, as always in internet, there is a lot of trolling. I think it's more than expected, and I think people have to have that expectation that there's going to be a lot of stuff there regarding the internet where you go, and if you cannot handle that, I think you should not be in charge of community management there. But yeah, other threads are also been locked by moderators, and then people start to get upset, of course. And here, woke devs banning people for asking questions in this game is apparently non-binary. Another game to have to ignore lists for the woke devs. They learned the hard way, and it's a new era. People won't put up with this shit anymore. And again, here, censoring campaign, the policing of information on these forums is gross. I am delisting the game as any company that supports us silencing this happening on this forum is no doubt just working on the pendant project that will make Dragon Age Veilguard look like Duke Nukem, fake from saving the hassle of having a refund. And then, again, the replies from this is very interesting. I'll let your thoughts here. My moderation actions haven't changed, and those who've been here longer will know I'm pretty fair when it comes to locking topics. I don't think so. Mostly, if it's suddenly locked, it's because it's derailed to users insulting each other, going completely off topic, or off topic, or is a topic that has been overly discussed previously. Again, just a nitpick here. People that ask questions usually don't go to see if the topic has been discussed already. They think they are the first one to bring that issue at hand. So again, this is an excuse to basically lock topics. And then in one of the responses, unless someone really needs to stay open, I'm locking this. It's returning a back and forth with mud slinging post. And again, this comes even from November, locking these kind of things. Male fire, which is the main protagonist class, I think. Clothing plus question. Clothing from the recent diary looks pretty cool. Could we get some art or screenshot on the female fire dude with all the clothing as well? Also, side question: can we change hairstyles in game? Not a big fan of the boy haircut the female fire has, or the long hair the male has. I do like his voice though, assuming that was him talking in the previous trailer. And again, blocked. And continuing here with the thing here, what do you mean by mask fire? So masculine, do you mean to say that fire is not actually male or female, but only male or female presenting? Does this game have a male female protagonist or something else, like a trans person protagonist who is masculine or feminine pretending presenting? Sorry, would it be possible to get an official answer to this? And then she replied, this Fiona PDX. This was already answered in exactly what I say. They are masculine, feminine presenting. So again, we got basically 100 years old vampires, trans vampires, it seems, which is again, this is not going to end up well. Um, there was also a post community manager Debbie Ella on the Paradox forum. So again, even on their own forums, that states, and the question is very small here: can you customize your character in Bloodlines too? And the question and the answer is, sorry, you can choose to play masculine or female fire. Again, this comes away the presenting itself as something that it's not. Each with their own VA, you'll be able to choose hairstyle for fire. Outfits not locked to your clan will affect how others react to you, and of course, you'll be able to pick your clan. Again, which is interesting in terms of customization. Supposedly, clans have kind of uh, uniformity in terms of how they clothe themselves, it seems, but you can override that, even though it seems that I think that the clothing in here is mainly to activate how NPCs react to you. I think that's a gameplay trick there. But yeah, a post also from Paradox Forum by this Fiona person here also claims the company showed off a mask in our development update video post in August. Again, this seems to be bound to fail if they continue to not only not continue. Again, it doesn't even make sense. Um, that's something that is modern day politics in that sense. To be presented of something that was 400 years ago, you were slumbering, then you wake up, you're trans. Again, I don't have again, as always, I don't have any issues regarding anybody that identifies with such. But again, it doesn't even make sense um, to present itself. I think it's not even lore accurate to a certain degree, and it removes again the overall thing is it removes yourself from what the games usually try to be, which is uh, a little bit of escapism, try to delve into a different world of fantasy, sci-fi, whatever it is, and explore other stuff and other ideas. And these people, especially uh, creative directors, we've been seeing a lot, art directors and all that jazz, they try to um, not use escapism, which is basically you have to deal with this every second of your life, and try to hammer this ideology here as something that is correct and true, and everything that differs from that their ideas and how they present themselves is evil. Again, um, we'll have to wait and see how the common sense people respond to this. But yeah, this is what I got from news. I'm stretching a little bit here. Again, a lot of stuff to cover since I missed yesterday. We got some game deals. We got nioh complete edition. So this is the first game. It's 80% off. We got Doom now again because of the presentation yesterday. Doom is 80% off, so I think it's an excellent price here. We got also Doom Eternal 75%. Then we got the older things here. You hear One Pass, Ancient Gods, and all that jazz. Again, the base game is 75% off. Then we got also Red Dead Redemption 2, 75% off and 80% on the Ultimate Edition. We got Atomic Heart still on sale, 65% at least on all editions here. We got also Metaphor Refantasy is again on sale with the demo here. 30% on the base game. We got also Dredge. This is the deluxe version, 40% off. Lies of P also 40% off on the base game. And then lastly, we got Snow Runner, which is kind of relaxation, kind of a game, driving around and do some objectives. Even there, it's not a racing game, but it seems pretty interesting here if you like to drive around and going about on terrains and unlocking vehicles and doing some challenges here and there. It's 50% off, and then we got several bundles here and there, which are almost all basically 50% give or take, except for the expensive one. But yeah, this is what I got for you today, guys. I will wrap up here with a plug on my patrons for access support. The access support at this moment in time is more for me to try and get a better storage solution so I can have backups for the stuff that I do for my clients, and of course some extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day. I will see you in the next one. So until then, let me master out.